Hey y'all, I'm Carolina Tony. Today I am coming to you from my home, and I have my wife behind me, Miss Debbie. Say hey, Miss Debbie.
Hello.
We have been married a little over 45 years. And in those 45 years, that lady behind me, she has not been able to make biscuits, bless her heart. But as a lot of you know that follow my channel, back in September, we paid Miss Brenda Gantt of the Cooking with Miss Brenda Gantt show a visit and stayed at her bed and breakfast. And we have watched some of her videos, and Miss Debbie has learned to make homemade biscuits. And today we are going to show you how she does that, but right after this station identification.
Okay, what I have in this wooden bowl is White Lily self-rising flour, just like Miss Brenda Gantt uses. Make sure that it's self-rising flour. Also, you will need vegetable shortening. This is Crisco, but it needs to be solid shortening. And then you will need full buttermilk. I think you can use the fat-free, but the full cultured buttermilk is the best. So what you want to do is you want to put your flour in your bowl, and you want to make a well.
This is a trick.
If you do it correctly, your flour on the bottom will not get wet. So you've got a bank of flour around the edges, and you have a bowl, a well, or should I say. Okay, so then you need to take your shortening, and you need to make sure that you grease your cast iron pan.
And this is the trick right here.
I don't think that you have to have the pan, but it sure makes a world of difference if you do. So we want to generously grease your pan, whatever you're using.
So that's a antique black iron cast frying pan.
It's real shallow.
Right.
So then you want to take your Crisco shortening again. And I wish there were measurements, but there really are not. You'll just have to make them periodically so that you get a feel for it. But you want to get a decent size, about an egg-shaped size of your Crisco. And I use 2 of those. So 2 kind of egg-sized shape of Crisco. So you want to put that in there. Then you want to take your buttermilk. You want to make sure that you shake your buttermilk up, and you want to pour your buttermilk. And again, this is not measurement, but you want to pour your buttermilk in there. I would say that's probably about a cup of buttermilk. And then you want to take your hands, and you want to start kind of mixing your shortening in with your buttermilk. You're not going to get any flour at this point, so you're just going to get your Crisco kind of mashed in with your buttermilk. And you'll just get a feel for this. It's not any direct science, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good idea to wash your hands before you start doing that.
Which I did that before I did.
We left that part out.
We did. So you're kind of getting your shortening into little pea-sized bits in your buttermilk.
So the shortening is breaking down in the buttermilk. Okay.
Exactly. So when you feel like you've got that, then you want to start drawing in some of your flour from the edges. You're not going to go down below the buttermilk. You're going to start drawing in with your finger just some, from the edges, some flour. So you're gonna start doing that. Then you're gonna go back and you're gonna kind of mix it in. And you're gonna start just drawing in your flour into the buttermilk and Crisco mixture. And you'll just have to get a feel for this. This is just a learning. As Brenda says, you do not want to overwork your biscuits or your dough, because then your dough will get, your biscuits will be hard, like mine were years ago. As I told Tony, they were like hockey pucks. So I'm just drawing in some of the flour from the edges, and you'll see that it's starting to kind of work up. And if you have some bits of the Crisco that are still in there that you feel in like little bits of pea size, that's okay. And when actually you finish with this, the bottom of your flour is going to be completely dry. There'll be no buttermilk. There will be no Crisco on the bottom of your bowl. Brenda leaves her flour in her bowl at all times. I don't do that because I don't make biscuits all the time like she does. So I do put my flour up after I make my biscuits. So you see, it's just kind of, you're just lightly working it.
Just a little at a time.
A little at the time, and you're kind of turning it over on itself, drawing in your flour.
So right now you can really tell it's beginning to look like a dough ball.
Exactly. And then once you get your flour incorporated, you should be able to pick the dough ball up and put it on your counter. So you should be able to just start flipping it over on itself, and it should be.
So there's still going to be flour left in the bowl.
Still going to be flour left in the bowl. You're not going to use your flour. All of your flour.
But you can save that flour.
I do save the flour. I put it back in the refrigerator. I put it in a bag. Brenda leaves hers in her bowl all the time and just covers it up with a cloth.
Now she uses a different kind of bowl.
She uses a deeper bowl. It's a pottery bowl. You do want one a little deep to where your flour is in there. You see now I'm starting to kind of turn it over on itself. I'm being real gentle, still bringing in some of the flour from the sides. If you've watched Brenda's video, you'll probably notice that she does it a whole lot faster than I do because she's done it for many, many years. So you see it's kind of getting into a ball. And so now I'm going to clean my fingers off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to first of all, I'm going to take and I'm going to put some flour out on my counter so that the dough doesn't stick. And then I'm going to pick the ball up. And if you'll look down in there, there's very minimal biscuit dough left. So you don't really want to work your dough a lot. You just kind of want to pat it. Okay? You don't want to knead it. You just want to pat it out until it's about maybe a 1/4 inch, depending on how big you like your biscuits. Some people like thicker biscuits. I kind of like a thinner biscuit, so it just depends on how. And all I'm doing is just patting. I'm not rolling, I'm not kneading, I'm just patting the dough out. So I guess this is...
So there's not any importance to the particular shape, you're just doing that.
I'm just patting it out.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess that's probably about a 1/4 inch thick, would you say?
1/4 to a half, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Just depends on how thick you want your biscuits. Okay, now.
But you can do this and get an idea. It's a little less than my first joint of my forefinger.
Okay. Now also what I use is a biscuit cutter. She uses an old tin can from Chef Boyardee, but I have the modern biscuit cutter. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you kind of dip your biscuit cutter in your flour so that it doesn't stick. And you just cut those out, and then you will take them and you'll put them on your pan.
So no further pressing.
Nope.
Just pop them in.
Pop them in.
And then you keep putting that.
You got to keep putting this, because if you don't, then the dough's going to stick to your biscuit cutter. And you're going to put them close together. Also, what I didn't mention is that you should have your oven preheated to 500 degrees. Miss Brenda says that you need to cook your biscuits quickly at high temperature, and that keeps them from being tough as well. And I'm probably going to make more biscuits than I have, probably have more dough than I have room in my biscuit pan.
All right, now we have a pan full of biscuits, and we have a little dough left over.
So if you didn't have enough, if you had a larger pan, this is a small pan. So if you had a larger pan, you could take this and you could put it back in a ball, pat it out again, and you could still cut out some more biscuits. You could also take this leftover dough and you could make the fried apple pies that Miss Brenda fixes as well. But when you do that, you need to put it back together in a ball, and you can take this and put it in your refrigerator and cook it later. But if you wanted to do the fried apple pies, your dough needs to be stiffer than your biscuit dough. So you would need to add more flour to it, and you would have to knead it. Where we didn't knead it before, we just patted. You would add more flour to it, and you would knead your dough until your dough got stiff.
Okay, well that's coming. That's another video down the road.
So you
all right, so they're ready for the oven now.
They are ready for the oven. They should cook at 500 degrees for about maybe 15 minutes, but you need to watch them. When they get golden brown on the top, that's when you will take them out and enjoy. Put some butter in between them and enjoy nice homemade biscuits. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Okay, it's time to pop them babies in our preheated oven, and then after we do that, we'll be back and we'll be eating some biscuits.
Okay, I think they're done, so we're gonna look in the oven and see how they are. Yep.
That's a good looking biscuit.
There you go.
We're gonna test them out here in just a minute.
Again, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, so it took about
15 minutes.
15 minutes and probably about less than 5 minutes to make them up.
Yeah,
How long this video is, it's all actual time, so not long at all. All right, well. Okay, well, let's see. Let's slice one of these open and put just a little dab of butter in it and try it out. That's what I'm talking about. That is a very good biscuit, just like Miss Brenda's. All right, well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Cooking with Miss Debbie. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give me a big old thumbs up. Be sure to tell your family and friends, and until next time, Y'all have a good day.